All right, so let me make sure. All right, I think we are live right now. Let me just make sure on YouTube. Yes.
Let me just make sure on YouTube.
Yes. Yes,
There
we
you
are.
are.
We are live. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we're live.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay. All right. Let me just make the volume low on there. Okay. All right. Oh. All right. So I am actually watching all of you on Zoom, obviously. Our questions and whatnot. Hang on, I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. I'm hearing an echo. Oh, there we go. I need to turn that off. Okay. I have so many browsers on, so I had to like figure out which browser do I have to turn off so that I don't hear the echo. So now I am on Zoom. We are streamed on live, so watch what we say. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to Teach and Reach YouTube channel. I am Loretta Holmberg. And I have guests on this channel today. We are all VIPTeach fellows, and I will let them introduce themselves, and then we'll go about and ask all the different questions, talk about the different things that we're doing with VIPTeach, and then we'll entertain questions from our audience too. We have some folks in the chat room actually. So who would like to start?
I can start.
Go ahead, Susan. Introduce yourself, Susan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Loretta, for the invitation to this. My name is Susan Landira. I am a special education teacher with an agency out of New York. And I also teach for VIP Kid for 3 years now. And I am a part of the VIPTeach Fellowship.
Thank you so much, Susan, for agreeing to do this interview. Appreciate it. When's it go next?
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Hello, I'm Tiffany. I've been with VIP Kid for over 3 years now, and I am also a part of the fellowship with Susan, Kate, and you, Loretta. And thank you so much for having all of us here today.
You're welcome. And I really, really thank you for agreeing to do this. And last but not least, we have Kate.
Hello, everybody. I am Kate Chartel Novak, and I am also a part of the VIPTeach Global Online Fellowship. I always mix up the order of those words.
Yes.
You need to look down. Global Online Teaching Fellowship.
There you go. Yes, right there.
Yeah. So I've been teaching with VIP Kid also for a little over 3 years, and I was a brick-and-mortar teacher for 10 years in public schools, both urban and suburban. So thank you very much for having us all here. I can't wait to dive right in.
Me too. And thank you again. I really, really appreciate all of you agreeing to do this because I think it would really, really help the masses know about the VIPTeach Fellowship program, which is awesome in my opinion. But let's talk about first things first, right? What prompted you to apply for the VIPTeach Fellowship program?
FOMO.
Missing out.
I
agree. Yeah, no, I mean, every time I see some sort of ground floor opportunity, I kind of jump at it because I'm worried about what I'm going to miss.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, once I saw the mission, I was like, wow, this dovetails with so many things important to me in my life. And I don't want to monopolize the time, although I do feel my fellows' answers are going to be similar. So go ahead.
Feel free to add to that.
Yeah.
Because I know the personal, like you have the other story with what you do outside of VIP Kid that kind of probably dovetail with why you probably applied for this.
Yeah, so one of my professional goals, which I was really looking into professional development when I saw it, is to serve communities that may not otherwise have access to services that I personally can provide. And I just wanted to put goodness into the world. And so when I saw the mission and everything, it just really aligned with everything I was looking for at that moment. And like Kate said, FOMO.
How about you, Susan?
When I first heard about it, I heard about it through a rural education project colleague. So this project, we all know, it's near and dear to our hearts. We teach students in rural China who might otherwise not have the opportunity to even speak with a native speaker, right? So as Tiffany said, I think we all kind of have the same mission to serve the underserved, to give students the opportunity at education who may not otherwise have that opportunity.
Right, right. Yeah, so I I'm not part initially before all of this, like I'm not part of the rural education project. I know of them, but I also knew that they hadn't had any opening for like a very long time. And I'm only my third contract, right? So I'm only like a year in, like unlike most of you who are like veteran teachers. So I actually found out about the VIP Teach Fellowship program on Instagram through someone who actually put in an application. So like I was telling you, I was like, I saw that. And I'm like, oh, I need to find out more about it because this is interesting. A fellowship, it's usually when you hear fellowship, there's usually like some kind of a service and whatnot. I'm like, I might be interested in it. So I went to check out. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am really, really into the mission as well, about giving access and equity to students who might not ordinarily would, get it. And the bigger vision was, oh, I need to learn more about how to do this because I want to get the digital pedagogy aspect of it, because I teach undergrad and graduate students, and now we're all online. And so I figured, hey, maybe I can get some tips on how they can also, infuse certain things in their classroom to engage their students. So that was why I applied. So between the time I found out about it on Instagram to the time I put in my application, it was all done within 24 hours. So I was just like, because the deadline was closing. All right. So we learned about you learned about it from a fellow REP colleague, right? Susan, you said that. Yes. Kate, how did you come to know of it? Was it through?
Oh gosh. I actually met Lauren Kahn has the fancy title that I don't know the specific name of because
something about social impact. Something about social impact.
Yeah. So anyway, she ran a session with the former REP director person, and at Journey in Washington, D.C. just a little over a year ago. Yeah, and I met her, and she talked about VIP Teach and what was being planned for it. And I decided to keep my ear to the ground on that. And I just kept looking for it everywhere. And then eventually I got some kind of email, I think it was from the REP team, saying that they were seeking experienced and novice fellows, and the existing REP teachers would count as experienced fellows. So I applied for the experienced fellow pathway, and I, like you did, Loretta, I jumped right on it. I just had a little more lead time with knowing about it.
and Tiffany, how did you learn about it?
So I was not previously an REP teacher either, just like you, Loretta, and I had seen them mention it in one of the weekly teacher updates for VIP Kid.
Okay.
And I can't remember the exact wording, but it had said something about, go to this link and put in your email and we'll send you info when we come out with it. So I did that, and I started the application process. Like Kate said, I had a little bit more lead time. So I had a little bit more time to prepare, but yeah, it all went well and it worked out. We're all here now.
Yeah. So Lauren Kahn did say that if anyone is interested, go to info@vipteach.org. I put it in the YouTube chat. You can email them and they will put you on the newsletter, and you will get, the updates and whatnot. You can also go to the VIPTeach.org. Click on it. You can learn more about the program, as well as click on the blog to follow VIP Teach fellows. All right. So we talked about experienced fellows and novice fellows. So we have two experienced fellows here, right? Susan and Kate, and we have two novice fellows here. So let's talk about how our roles are similar and different in the VIP Teach fellowship. I mean, all of us are teaching in the REP classrooms. So in that sense, it's all similar, right? How is it a little different?
Susan, do you want?
I can
Anyone,
Go ahead.
anyone, feel free.
I think it's a little different because we've been doing it. Well, at least Kate and I don't want to speak for all of the experienced fellows because I don't know how long they've all been here, but Kate and I have been here for quite some time. So we've been doing it for a while. We understand the ins and outs of the REP classroom, and we're able to, so I should back up a little bit. Part of what the experienced and novices do is they connect as mentor-mentee.
Yes.
So we learn from each other, but we are also there to kind of guide them through their initial REP classroom experiences. So I think as experienced fellows, we can guide them, we can show them what to do, what not to do, what happens when there's a catastrophe, but we're also part of PLC groups together. I mean, there are lots of things that we do together. So
Yes.
I don't want to say that there's a big distinction between experienced and novices, except that we've been doing RP classes longer than you have.
Right.
Yeah.
I would add also that there's an onboarding period where the novice fellows needed to actually do the training to be certified to teach the rural education project, because in VIP Kid World, you need to have little certifications for each different mode of curriculum you teach. And so that was a big difference. And then the PLCs, like Susan talked about, professional learning communities, we are able to connect in addition to those meetings with our mentor and mentee, and the professional learning community groups are pairs of mentor mentee, like 2 or 3 pairs, or maybe 3 or 4. I don't know.
I think it's 2 or 3 pairs. So it's either 4
ours is 3.
you're
Mine
correct,
is 3
Kate.
pairs. We're actually in the same one, Susan, Tiffany, and I.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that was completely by coincidence, Loretta. I don't know how you ended up with us. We just we love what we're doing. So
awesome, no?
Yeah. So the mentor-mentee pairs are then put into a little bit of a bigger, small, but still small group. And, it's just a really cool sort of domino effect of learning among peers. And and then it all ultimately affects these rural education project classes where we can have anywhere from like 5 to 50 plus students in that classroom. And that makes it a very different experience than from our one-to-one classes of VIP Kid.
Absolutely. So so Kate mentioned PLC, that's professional learning communities, right? Where we get to learn with each other on a specific topic or something that we've decided that we were going to discuss, and it might just be our teaching that we want to bounce off on, right? So the whole idea is hoping that by next semester we get this right with the videos being able to. So unlike our regular one-on-one VIP Kid class where everything's recorded, with the REP classrooms, it's not recorded. So we're hoping that by next semester we get this sorted out where we can actually watch videos of ourselves teaching so that we can give feedback to each other, because that will help us, right? I mean, professionally, to enhance our teaching in the classroom from one to many students. So that's a little bit different. And Tiffany, you want to chime in?
Sure. So as you were saying about watching each other and giving each other feedback, I think that that's such a wonderful thing that I'm looking forward to next semester, especially because we've all developed such amazing relationships with each other, and we all come from very different backgrounds in teaching and education. And so I'm really excited for that because I want that feedback. I want critical feedback. I want to improve. And yeah, that's just a very exciting component of the program. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, Tiffany. I am really, really looking forward to that as well. I think being open to accepting, constructive critical feedback, right, can really, really do well, to serve me well, and serve other teachers well as well, to make us better teachers in the classroom. And then online, because the online classroom is so different than when you're like right next to the student, where you can just do close proximity, and that's fine. How do you do close proximity with like a big class of, Kate was saying, like up to 60 students? I don't have 60 students in my classroom. I have like about between 39 and 140 something.
It's still a large number.
It's still a big number. Yes, it's
Yeah,
still a big
yeah.
number. But it's amazing what we can accomplish in 25 minutes with them.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
definitely
agree.
where the skill part of it comes in, and where as fellows we have, not that other teachers don't, but we wanted specifically to have a professional growth experience that was deepened perhaps. And so we've joined this in order to help facilitate that. I also wanted to comment, Tiffany, when you said about all of us having different backgrounds. Tell us what time it is where you are.
Oh, it's not that late here. It is 3:19 p.m. So
Oh, okay.
I'm in the UK, but I think there's only a 5-hour difference between me and Loretta, maybe.
Yes,
I know.
because I'm on the East. Well, with Kate too, because Kate's on the East
Oh,
Coast
okay.
as well.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
Eastern Standard
Susan,
Time
are you
also,
Eastern
and
Standard
so
Time?
is Susan.
Oh, so okay. Yes.
But where this makes a big difference is when we have these full cohort meetings of all 30 of
Yes.
us, and they're at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Then what time is it, Tiffany?
Right, because we have Jacob
Yeah.
who is in Vietnam, and so
Yes.
so 7 o'clock at night for us here is like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock in the morning over there or something, because it's 13 hours difference. And then we have another experienced fellow who is in Italy, right?
Yes.
And then there's one in
Susanna.
Mexico. And Chris is
Chris.
in Mexico. I think there are a couple
Susanna's
others.
also in our PLC, so we always
Oh!
have to adjust our.
That's interesting.
We just have the best PLC. There are many other wonderful PLCs too, but
You have a very, very internet, like, yeah. International time zone there.
yeah. So yeah, we have to be sensitive to that. And
Right.
even in our REP classes, we're teaching when most people and families are doing bedtime routines.
Right.
We're teaching classes to these children who are in the middle of their school day. So
Right, and that's a good point. Let's talk about that, because the REP classes that are being taught obviously is, well, for those of us who are in the United States on the Eastern time zone, right? We're teaching it at night, right? It could be my earliest one is 8:30 at night. 8:30. I have 8:30, 9 o'clock, and 9:30. How about yours, Kate?
7:30 and 8 o'clock. I only have 2 classes this semester, but I have a lot of other things going on.
Right. And how about you, Susan? What are your times for the REP classes?
My latest right now, because of the time change, is 10:30. So I have 6 classes, but it was 11:30. So thank goodness for the time change. So
Yeah, daylight savings time really helps.
Right. And Tiffany, what time are your classes?
Oh, I only have one class this semester, and they're wonderful. The class was at 4:30 a.m. my time, but then they switched it around, and now it's at 1:30 a.m. my time.
Lucky you.
And it's so difficult because I get so excited and we have so much fun together, and I always plan on falling asleep afterwards, and I cannot.
So if you were in the Pacific time zone or the Mountain time zone, it's a little bit earlier than, well, it'll probably be in the evening or like late afternoon, early evening, your time zone, because we're teaching it when the students in China are in school. And so typically, what time do they start school? Like 7:30 in the morning, 7:20?
Our classes usually fall at like early to mid-morning, I think, for their time, for Beijing time, I think it's like early to mid-morning for them usually.
Right. So that's some of the things that we've got to adjust to, and you got to so with the fellowship, Lauren actually works with us as to, like, you can actually say like what time you're available. So I gave her like a whole list of times that I'm available, because I can't usually do every single day. And she and then I think what she did was she gave it to the person who is in charge, right? And they gave it to like the fireman, maybe. I know my fireman contacted me and said, hey, can you do these 3 classes on these days? I'm like, yep, that works. I don't know how you all got yours, but
Can I just take a moment to shout out to our firemen? They are amazing.
Yes,
They are.
They are
They're
amazing.
awesome.
I have
Yes.
David, and he is.
Oh, you have
like-
David, like the big
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
David is amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better fireman for my
Awesome.
first semester with rep. He is so amazing.
I have Alyssa, and she's awesome as well. Do you like Alyssa? Do you have Alyssa
I have
as well?
Alyssa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
I
awesome. Like
love
the
Alyssa.
my first class, well, I didn't know who my fireman was. In the first class, she says, "Hi, teacher Loretta. I'm Alyssa." I quickly added her on Skype. So we get to chat with each other on Skype as well, which is awesome. And she's very responsive. And she, like, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago on Thanksgiving. I didn't want to teach I didn't want to teach on Thanksgiving because I was enjoying time with
Turkey.
family. Well, not only turkey, it's like I haven't
Cooking.
seen my son for so long. And
Yeah.
so it's like,
Oh,
it's my son. And so
yeah.
like, I don't want to take time away. And she's like, oh yeah, we can just reschedule. I'm like, just reschedule. I don't want to cancel it the whole week. I'm like, just find out whether they can do it a different day. And we did it a different day, which was fine. But they're so my fireman, Alyssa, is very, very responsive and communicative. So I really appreciate that. But thank
And
you.
just
for
to
bringing it up.
just to back up again, firemen, for people who aren't aware.
Who's
Like,
a
what? Who
fireman?
are these people? They're like our little tech people. So it's never just you in the class. There's
Right.
always another set of eyes there, and they're there to help you with tech difficulties during classes. So they are very, very, and they also schedule,
Yes.
reschedule.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and for Rural Education Project in particular, they are so much more than just IT during class. There are a lot of things.
Right,
There are
right.
our initial connection to the local teacher who's in the classroom, and they're a wonderful resource, and we can't thank them enough.
Yeah, and I would for feedback after class, I would actually just type it in the Skype. Like she doesn't want me to use the document thing, and so like I just type it Skype to her, and she just, I guess she copies and pastes it and just tells it to the lead teacher in China, right? And very, very responsive. I love it. I love their support. They're awesome. I mean, like it's a real person, it's not just like
Yeah. They'll translate the feedback, and it's one
Yes.
less step if they have to go to the Google Doc. So we have a Google
Yes.
Doc feedback form that we can complete
Yeah.
after class if we want to convey anything directly to the local teacher. But if we do send the feedback to the firemen instead, then it's easier for them to translate it, I think. So, and that's really up to the teacher, I think. And part of what you get in the fellowship is you get that extra insight versus if you just
Yes.
apply straight for Rural Education Project and you get your certification and then you're kind of like thrown into a class and
Right.
yeah, and you're kind of learning as you go. We're learning as we go here too,
Right.
but
I'm
we have
definitely
the
learning as I go.
we have the added benefit of people who've been with REP. We have the
Yes.
added benefit of a closer connection to the staff at VIP Kid. And it definitely makes it advantageous to be a part of the fellowship if you want to be a part of the Rural Education Project. So
Yeah, I agree. This is a good, it's a good in, right? It's a good, I mean, like
yeah.
you're doing service, but it's a good in because like you get the camaraderie of like the whole cohort. We have our monthly cohort meetings. We have our PLC meetings. We have our mentee meetings, or just, checking up on each other. I guess we all had the end of semester party as well on Monday that unfortunately I had to miss.
I know, I couldn't go either. It was my
I was
husband's
like, I was so
birthday.
bummed out. And I did ask Lauren, like, did you all record it? Because I want to watch it. Because like, well, it's not really a real, a meeting. So we didn't have it recorded. But Susan, do you have anything to chime in about firemen and what we've just talked about?
Yeah, so in addition to the firemen kind of putting out the fires, which I guess is where they got their name, right? They're putting
Right,
out our
right,
technical
right.
fires. They are really a great resource for connecting to your schools if you want to do a special project, if you want to make sure your students have pen and paper, or even something as small as that. They're your resource for that. A quick note to Alyssa or Carol, who I love
Right.
to.
I have Carol also.
And just say, hey, Carol, can you make sure that they have a pen and paper today? Or
Yes.
can you make sure they're ready to do whatever activity we're doing, write letters to Santa or make New Year's resolutions or whatever.
Right.
Because in addition to teaching them, we're teaching them about culture too, right? So
Right.
Christmas is coming, so we have a lot of Christmas themed lessons and things going on. I sang Jingle Bells yesterday. So
yeah, I'm planning to teach. Well, I'm going to be teaching them next week on Christmas Eve, since we're not doing anything like super special on Christmas Eve. So yeah, so we're going to be doing carols, a simple one. But over Halloween, that's what I did. I told them that I'm going to be coming with, a Halloween, like I'm going to wear something for Halloween. I say, well, they could make face masks. And they actually did. They make face masks and they wore it. I mean, like, it was paper
That's
face
so
masks,
sweet.
but it was so cute.
That's
It was
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. So they could like enjoy, and it was a Halloween, like they have like Halloween theme, like one of the what am I what's the
Slides,
word?
the
One of the
slide,
slides is
yeah,
the lesson itself. The
lessons.
lesson is the Halloween lesson. So it was perfect. It was perfect because we were all dressed up one way or another. So what are some moments with the fellowship this semester?
Um, I tried to, I got into, I don't know why I did that, because we're gluttons for punishment. That's how teachers are. You know, I've started sending gifts to my classes. So what's really cool about our teacher community is that, working across the ocean from underneath the steps in your basement, like I am right now, we have been able to use all these cool technologies and
Right.
social media and that sort of thing to make these connections. And there's actually a dedicated social media Facebook group for people. There's a couple actually out there where
Yeah.
people in China will order and package little
Right.
gifts and send it, because it can be very expensive to ship things overseas. So
Yes. And it
a
also
lot of
takes very
times,
long.
right, yeah, a lot of times the children don't have any books at home.
Right.
I mean, like, books at all. I have shelves full of books. This is just one. And these are kids in a classroom. They have no books. So I feel like Susan actually started it. It's all your fault, Susan. Where we started sending books to the classrooms, and I like to try to send enough so that each child can take a book home, and then also so there's a few extra for the local teacher to build up their classroom library. And it is so rewarding to see when they finally get them and they're like, "Look, teacher!" Yeah. They go, "Look, teacher, thank you." And they have their books. But you don't have to give them gifts and spend extra money to get those kind of rewarding moments either. To piggyback off of the firemen being so helpful, and then also answer this question about memorable moments, I have my one class of 53, and then I have another class of 18.
Oh, wow.
Well, 53, yeah, it's very hard to see them all on camera, but they have it positioned okay. I can still basically see like heads. The class of 18, I kept noticing for a couple weeks they were having trouble repeating with call and response, which is supposed to be what they're most accustomed to.
Right.
And I couldn't see them. I was like, so finally I reached out to the firemen. I said, what is their setup? I said, I will buy them a projector and a camera and send it to them if they need it. I don't care. But I feel like we're not getting as much as we need to out of these classes because of the way it's set up. They're all crowded around a laptop. And he looked into it for me, and apparently the local teacher was having trouble operating the large panel computer, basically their smart board.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent in the tech help there to get her able to operate it, and now they're using that and things are going so much better. So it's those kind of moments where you make that kind of difference, again, from underneath your basement steps in your home,
Right.
to all the way across the world, and you're just like, wow, I'm making an impact. And it's a very, very cool thing to realize that we have that kind of power nowadays amid a pandemic, amid
Right.
all the different sort of restrictions. Having, I have a preschooler, and then I have a tween and a teenager in this house. A husband, 2 other jobs. Like it's wild to know that we can do that as one little person.
Thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. Who wants to go after her?
Sorry.
I can tag on there.
Go ahead,
I'm going to tag on to Kate with the book situation. So yeah, I feel the same way, that how can a child not have at least one book that they can call their own, right? So that did prompt me to send books to my classes. But and in the joy on their faces when you open that camera and they're like holding up their books or whatever you sent them, it's priceless. with the books, I actually sent them some Twizzlers because I was looking for some kind of candy that wouldn't melt. And a funny story, because you asked about fun things, a funny story out of that is that they thought they were erasers because they had never seen them. So the teacher sent a note through the firemen. So I was able to hear the story about how they thought they were going to erase with the Twizzlers. So that was pretty fun.
That is funny.
Wait, did you send Twizzlers from here?
I sent the books and the Twizzlers from here because this was before I knew about the online service.
Oh, okay.
I've used the online service. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But
Really
I
good.
did. But you're right, Kate. You don't have to send them gifts. I mean, speaking of Christmas, I have a tree. You can't see it because I'm not in my classroom, but a lot of them don't have Christmas trees, right? They may have never even seen one.
Right.
So I created paper ornaments, and each of them have their name on them, and their faces just light up when you show them the ornament with their name on it, and you stick it to that tree that they're, it's their tree. It's our classroom together, right? It's not my classroom, it's our classroom. And now we have our tree with your names on it, and they just love that. So you don't have to feel obligated to send them anything, but there are little things you can do through your camera that they're gonna love.
Absolutely. Tiffany?
So, like Kate was saying, and Susanna, this is such an amazing experience to be able to feel like you're making a difference through such a small portion of your world, right? Like, this is such a small space, but I'm making an impact somewhere across the world.
Right.
So my most memorable and I guess most fun moment this semester was when my class, so usually we open the camera and I say hi to each individual one and we go on with the lesson. Well, when I opened the camera, they were all scooting their desks out of the way and getting ready. And all of a sudden I heard music start. And so I was like, teacher, and she was like, wait 1 moment. And I was like, okay. And they had performed for me a dance and their TPR was beautiful and they were so cute. And the teacher said that I had inspired them and they had asked to do that for me. And that warmed my heart so much because I just felt like, wow, I made an impact where they wanted to do something extra. They practiced that. They took time out of their day. And for me, that was such a memorable experience. And I am so grateful for them doing that and the teacher letting them do that. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Awesome. The kids are wonderful. The kids are, and they're very, very appreciative of you being there, and I remember the one, this was not most memorable, but I remember when the camera wouldn't come on. Like camera wouldn't come on for them and the camera wouldn't come on for me. And so there was no camera, but the slides were there. And fireman says, well, can you just still teach the class? I'm like, sure. I'm like, I can teach the class. Like my voice can be animated and whatnot. Like they just can't see my TPR, but we had a class. We had a full, well, it was more than 25 minutes, but we had a class and they seemed to have enjoyed themselves. This is just like, they love that. They love the fact that you're there in the classroom. And I think the lead teachers, the Chinese lead teachers also appreciate that, right? Some of them will come to, at least 2 of them will come to camera and say, hi, Loretta, hi, teacher Loretta. It's like, so one of my most memorable moments is actually last week. So the fireman knew that it was my birthday. I didn't share it with anyone else, but she knew it was my birthday because we talk, Elisa and I talk with each other about, like she wants to get cats and I have dogs. And so like we talk to each other and whatnot. So like I'm sharing pictures and whatnot. So anyhow, she must have told them. And one of my 7th grade class, as soon as I came on camera, they started singing the happy birthday song. And they had like a little note. And I wish I had gotten a screenshot of it or something. Because it was like, oh, it really, really made me cry. But yeah, those are like the little things, little things that just, well, keep you going and know that you're making a difference and they appreciate you. Not to say that our one-on-one kids don't appreciate that. They do, but like our RAP students, like they would not have been able to take English lessons with a native English speaker if they were not in this program, right? If there were no REP teachers, if there was no VIPTeach fellows to go into their schools, right, in this way. So yeah, that was one of my memorable moments this semester. It is our inaugural semester, so we are like the first cohort, right? They took I believe they took what, 30 fellows, right? They selected 30 fellows. We're down to 26, if I'm not wrong. I think we're down to 26 fellows,
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it is.
I don't know how many dropped, but you know, it being our inaugural semester, there's always that kind of, or cohort, I should say, because it's a 1 year
Right.
situation, 2 semesters. Uh, you know, and it being brand new, some people
Right.
weren't quite sure what they were getting into, and maybe
Yeah.
they had some personal commitments come up that conflicted. But I don't think anybody left because they wanted to, you know. So
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
think it was more like outside circumstances.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
absolutely.
definitely,
Yeah. I mean, and there, I mean, it is our inaugural semester. And it is our inaugural cohort. So there are growing pains that go along with it. So,
Mhm.
I know, like, all of us here, we're pretty flexible. Like,
Yeah.
we'll just
Yeah.
roll with it, right? And see what happens. So let's talk about what would you like more of next semester. So spring semester starts, when does it start? Is it March?
I believe February.
February? March?
I might be wrong.
depends.
Don't
There?
quote me on that.
I don't know. I don't remember.
And that's part of what makes the experience unique too, because just like all of our different school districts here in
Right.
America have different start and stop times for things, it's the same way in
Yes.
China. So there might have exams during certain dates. They might have a longer break than others. It really just depends.
Right. So we don't know exactly when it's starting in spring. We know that the end date of well, I think Tiffany's class. You're
Oh,
like, yesterday
yes.
was your last day.
I didn't know that because my fireman wasn't sure when their last day was, but then we got the list, which I was very grateful for because at least now I know. But
Where did you get the
yesterday-
list?
Oh yeah, you
believe-
get an email.
Oh,
We were emailed
And
it. Yeah.
they start to send a weekly email with a spreadsheet on it that indicates certain schools' last dates.
Okay.
And and you kind of look there and you kind of hold your breath and you hope maybe your school has one more week.
Yeah, because I didn't know. And so I feel like if I had known, I would have prepared something differently. But at the same time, I probably would have cried. So it's probably for the best.
You're probably gonna see them again when
I assume
semester starts
so.
up. Yeah.
Me and the local teacher, I feel like we really had a good relationship and we'd talk after class. So I'm hoping.
Yeah. So what is one thing that you're looking forward to next semester?
Well, Tiffany already mentioned about wanting to definitely do the recordings and be able to observe ourselves
Yeah, I think
in
we all
each
do.
other. Yeah, I think that's kind of something we're looking for more of. I would love to. I'm always looking, regardless of the fellowship. I've always been looking for more insight into these children's lives at home, really. And I would love to gain more of that kind of insight. Talk to Lauren, our fearless leader, about ways to, get a peek into that. I'm gonna put in the chat a link to a video that really kind of opened my eyes to what's going on. Oh, nope, that's wrong. That's my feedback from this morning's class.
That's okay. The folks on YouTube cannot see this.
That's okay. They can't see the chat. Okay, well then in your description of your video, then because I'm assuming that the recording is going to be on your YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So
what should I type in there?
I'm going to send you a link in the
Okay.
chat, and then you
Okay.
can put that in your description.
Absolutely.
It's called Why Are Millions of Chinese Kids Parenting Themselves? And it's just the left behind children.
Right.
And it is, it's not too long. It's not even 15 minutes.
Okay.
And
I will share it in the description. Yeah.
yeah, it really gives a great depiction of it's not great what's going on. It's
Right. Of why it's
that
happening.
it gives you a very quick, good, strong sense of what's happening and the kind of kids that we're reaching through the rural education project. And that's not to say that the rural education project is the only way we do that. It's one vehicle for us in the fellowship. So I think what we're also looking forward to, besides the recordings and deepening our own personal practice, is the Capstone Project. Is something that we started talking about at our end of semester meeting, and we're all floating ideas around for a Capstone Project that really gets to put all these things we talk about in terms of the mission for educational equity into practice in some way.
Right. I'm very excited about that Capstone Project, and I've been like hounding Lauren about it. Like, can I get started now? Because like I don't want to have to wait till end of January when we reconvene, because I have some time right now to start, getting all the wheels, because I'm thinking about equity and access here in America as well, and reaching students that need that, especially with this pandemic and how a lot of folks are online and they're not getting enough support just by virtue of the fact that it's online and not everybody has access to a lot of different things, and just being very away from the classroom means that some students who may need the extra help are not getting it just because of logistics, just logistics. And so I'm very conscious about that and I want to do something about it sooner rather than later. So I've been hounding Lauren, like, what are the parameters? What can we do? So anyhow, Susan, you want to add something to that? What are you looking forward to next semester?
Absolutely. I agree with all of you. I'm so excited about the Capstone Project. Loretta, I agree with you, because one of the ideas spinning around in my head revolves around what you're saying. I mean, there's a statistic floating out there that parents are paying like $50 an hour for tutoring services. But what happens to the students who can't afford to pay the $50 an hour? Right. So I think the Capstone Project is going to allow us the opportunity to do something similar to what we do in rural China, but here or there in the UK. Right. But in our local communities, if we want. I mean, we really kind of have free reign to serve whichever population we'd like to, so we can stay local or we can branch out. I mean, there are so many opportunities out there through the companies we've heard from, or on our own, so it's a great time to kind of brainstorm how do we want to serve these communities. And we were asked at the beginning, what do we want our legacy to be? I mean, this Capstone Project can really show us, right?
Yeah, no pressure, you guys.
No, right? Who asked you that question? When they asked that question, I'm like, ooh. But yeah, this is going to give us the opportunity to do that.
Right. So part of the VIPTeach Fellowship, we get to hear from speakers from like so many different organizations. I mean, we heard from Nick Martin from Tech Change. What's the lady's name? I forgot. Tibbetts
from She's the First.
Yeah, She's the First.
Tammy Tibbetts from She's the First.
Tibbetts. I did get the name right. Yeah, I caught the recording because I wasn't able to do the lunchtime meeting. Who else did we hear from? We heard from the guy from Excellent Ed.
Ted Abrams.
Right, Ted Abrams. Todd Abrams, Ted Abrams. Sorry for butchering your name.
We definitely heard from a lot of leaders in industries that apply to what we're doing, and it was incredibly helpful, even more so than I had anticipated.
Yeah, so that's all part of our professional development as well. And, being able to actually converse one-on-one, like during our meeting time. I'm excited for like next semester's speakers. I know Zach Dykewall is going to be one of them. So, yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know that.
Yeah,
How
I saw
did
that
you
on the
learn
list.
that?
I saw that on the list. I saw that on the list that Lauren
Oh,
had
you looked
said.
ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
I looked ahead. Yes, she did mention it as well. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. What's one advice you would like to impart to those considering applying for next year's cohort? So, next year's cohort would start in the fall, but the application process would be, I think, maybe like early summer, somewhere around there. Summer.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say be adaptable and be flexible, because this comes with all kinds of twists and turns, and all of them have been good, but you really can't take advantage of all of them unless you are willing to be adaptable. So I would say that's my best advice, is just be flexible and adaptable. And sometimes you got to wake up in the middle of the night, but it's worth it. I promise.
Yes. Yes, 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, or 4:30 in the morning. Well, I guess maybe 4:30 is better than 1:30. 1:30 is probably harder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think 4:30 was better, because then I could do my class and send my
Yeah.
kids off to school. So
yeah. 1:30, you got to stay awake.
Mhm.
lots of coffee.
Wendy Curran, she was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Associate Vice President for Development at Duke Kunshan University.
Wasn't that the first
China.
one that we had?
She was our first one. She was
And
so
she shared
good.
with us the video, what's the title of that video? Under the same sky,
Yes, Under the Same Sky. It
Right,
was
right.
a movie, I believe, a really
Right.
short.
It was a very
but it
short
was
film.
Yeah,
It was
short film.
amazing.
Mhm.
very, very amazing. Yes, I'll put the link for that too. But yeah, it's kind of you have to have access to like university library or public library access for you to be able to
Mhm.
watch the movie. But I'll also give them a backdoor way to be able to watch it, because what Tamara
Don't get us in trouble,
no,
Loretta.
no. What I remember what Tamara did was Tamara contacted the person who made the documentary and just asked for permission, and she gave us a link, and that's how a lot of us were watching it, directly
Yeah.
through the link that she shared. So that was awesome. I think everyone should be watching it. What's one advice, Susan?
Just to connect on what you just said, everyone should be watching that movie. I think going into this fellowship, we kind of came in thinking we're going to help students in rural China. We understand what's going on there. We understand that some of these students are not going to be able to go to schools like they would like to, because English is really super important. People don't
Right.
really understand how important it is. And if they don't have access to English classes, they don't have the same opportunities.
Right.
But the fellowship gives us the opportunity to do that, again, more locally. So another thing we don't realize is that in our own countries, there are students who don't have access to education like they should. So I think coming into the fellowship before you, all right, maybe during your application process, because it's kind of lengthy. So maybe during your application process, you should really be thinking about this mission. What is it that you want from this fellowship? What do you want to get out of it personally? What do you want to give to it? There's just so much, like Tiffany said, so much you can do, so much you can get out of it. So you can do this much or you can do this much, but you really should be thinking about what, if I don't want to say it this way, but if you're in it to get this much, that's what you'll get. But if you're in it to get this much, that's what you'll get.
Right.
So really think about the scope of it before you apply.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're considering it, stop considering and just do it. I was going to say, similarly to what Susan said, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And I would also say, reflecting on what Tiffany said, I would say, she said be adaptable. I would say typically I am the type of person who really wants my expectations to be clear. Like, I will do whatever you ask me to do as long as I have a clear expectation for it. I have never been asked so many times, but what do you actually do as a part of this? And I really think that speaks to what Susan said about figuring out your why, and why you want to be involved in this, because it's not so much what it is. Literally I could answer that question. I'm tripping over myself here, but literally I could answer that question by saying we have a lot of meetings. But more abstract, I would say, we have a lot of meetings to answer that very question. We have a lot of meetings precisely to figure out exactly what it is we are trying to accomplish with that mission in mind of educational equity across the world. And because it's the inaugural year, we
Yes.
have that time to do that. And with the Capstone Project coming next semester, we will be able to have a little more of a concrete nuts and bolts. This is what we're doing. But that's where the advice comes in. Not everybody's going to have the same Capstone Project for each year-long cohort. And it stems back to your why. So there's like this domino effect, this cause and effect relationship, where if you don't know why you want to get involved, okay, then with that mission in mind, then maybe take some time to figure it out before you actually forge forth. Because there has been a little bit of angst among us, like, okay, so now what? I haven't personally felt it. I don't think anyone here has, because we're all of the growth mindset of deepening our own personal practice at the very least. At the very most, you have these great ideas that we've been floating around that we're going to get to put into practice.
Right.
And it's just a matter of patience and really that growth journey of figuring out, why, so that you can figure out what you need to do to accomplish it.
Absolutely. After that response, like, how can I provide an advice? So like,
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a little rocky in the beginning. So
one advice I would have is make sure you go to the VIPTeach.org website, and you can actually read about all the different things. You can see what it entails. Obviously, then take into account what we have all said as well, right? And if you really believe in the mission and know that you want to make a difference, and this is part of your 2021 goal of making a difference, making a positive difference, then yes, do like what Kate said. Don't think about it anymore. Just do it. Just apply, and do it like me. Just apply everything in one day, and within 24 hours you send it in. Because the longer you sit on it, the longer you'll be like, oh well, maybe I don't. But when you put yourself in that position and you say, I'm going to do it because I want to do it, just go do it. Just go do it. It just, the whole application process to me, it didn't take that long, because like, writing all the stuff, and then you do the recording, right? You do the recording.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
did a recorded
and
interview.
then like about a couple of days later, or maybe a week later, you get an email and they tell you that, wait, they don't they make you go through something else? Like, don't they have you record something? I don't remember now.
It feels like it was forever ago.
Wait. I think it's the application first, and then after that a recording. If they like your application, then you send in a recording, because they want to see your personality, and they want to all that, and then after that they decide, and then you get a letter. Like, if you get accepted, you get a letter from Cindy Me right, on email.
She's the founder of VIP Kid, in case people don't know.
And in case anybody else doesn't know, right, this VIP Teach is a nonprofit here in the US. It is a registered nonprofit 501c3 in Did I say it right? 501c3. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
In the US.
When they
so
look at the website, it says so
it
there.
says
too.
all that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're just not allowed to apply yet because the application process hasn't opened yet. But definitely go to info@VIPTeach.org. Send that email, and Lauren or whoever else that's in charge of it is going to make sure that you get all the emails and whatnot to keep you updated on when the applications open. She's excited for for next year's cohort. It's like we're
And
going
if you
through growing pains, but by the end of next semester, we'll probably get a lot of stuff down, right?
Yeah, after Journey, and Journey is our I think it's quarterly conference that we have for VIP Kid Teacher Community. I really think it's going to be a much more competitive application process. Not that it wasn't this time, it certainly was, but I would not want to be applying this next semester. Who knows if I would make it. So if you're still on the fence, I would also say to go to VIPTeach.org and fill out that get updates on VIP Teach, subscribe to their updates. And then if you do want to read the blog, I did want to note when we were talking about that earlier, it's a little hard to find. You have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and then in the bottom right corner, there's a tiny little link that says blog.
Right, it's right at the bottom where it usually states like copyright and whatnot, and that's
next
like
to
right
the
above.
privacy policy.
right next to the privacy policy.
Maybe we can submit feedback on that.
Like the blog needs to have like a little button right at the very top.
Spot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it is a very nice website, and like you said, Loretta, it has a distinct identity from VIP Kid, but that connection is always going to be there.
Yes.
Where it started is always going to be there. And obviously that's going to be, you look internally first. So we started with a lot of VIP Kid. Not everybody was a VIP Kid teacher, but most, I would say.
Right.
And it is open to anybody, so don't feel like you need to be a part of VIP Kid already in order to do it. And that gives us, as experienced VIP Kid teachers and rural education project teachers, a whole other window into the teacher experience, the online teacher experience, when people haven't come from this space. We all get to learn a lot from each other in that regard too.
And we have the VIP Kid Rural Education Project Teachers Workshops as well that we have access to learn, from digital workshops that Dinah hosts, which is like awesome, to like other ones on like how to engage like whole class and whatnot. So like these are all very, very specific, right, to rural education project teachers, because we don't have access to those just as a regular one-on-one VIP Kid teacher, because it's just for the rural education project, but the fellows have access to it, which is nice.
And those topics will carry over into any other online teaching practice too. So it is an exclusive opportunity for us, but the skills gained from them are applicable to anything that people might be involved in outside of the fellowship.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, what you said, Loretta, is that there are workshops available. And I would say, I don't know if you all would agree, but we work closer, more like colleagues than anything else.
Yeah.
We're all here for each other. We're all rooting each other on. So if you do get into this program, and as you're applying, just keep in mind that this is a supportive community. We're all here for each other. We're not competing. We're all lifting each other up here and really using all of our skills together. So don't be worried about feeling like you don't know what's going on, because you'll have a community there to support you.
I did not know
that doesn't
anyone.
Either. No, I'm teasing.
I did not know Tiffany or Susan or Kate. Like and Tiffany and I are in like the novice fellow chat messenger. Like we have like a couple of other novice fellows on there, about all the novice fellows on there. And when we were going through Journey, like ordinarily I would have just gone to Journey virtual by myself, right? But we all felt like we mentioned that we all felt like we were going to it like together, because we kept on messaging each other during each session, like, hey, are you in this session? Oh, what a good job you did here, or whatever. And so it was like we weren't there physically with each other, but the number of messages we were sending back and forth as we were listening to all the different sessions and whatnot made us feel like, man, we were right there with each other, even though we were virtual. And the camaraderie is just awesome. It's just awesome. Like, I did not know any one of them, but the camaraderie is awesome. And yeah, you know what? That's one of those memorable things that I would have to take away from this semester as well, because just knowing all these wonderful folks. I mean, every one of the
Oh,
folks.
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, little fringe benefits. We were asked if we wanted to introduce some of the speakers at the Journey
Yes.
conference too. Some of us were able to do that. So that was really exciting. And then we also had a virtual expo booth that some of us were able to speak about our experience, and then we appeared in that little video, and it was a very well done virtual conference. I really was not expecting much, to be quite forthright. I was like, oh, virtual conference.
Right.
But it was really amazing, and I don't know if I attend any additional ones not with VIP Kid, how it's probably going to be a letdown, to be honest, because that was extremely well done, and it was very
It
cool.
was amazing.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
behind the scenes people
They
were
were
amazing as
amazing.
well. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so I mean, crash course in how to run a virtual conference. If you ever have something there, as a fellow, we were able to attend the Journey virtual conference with the VIP Teach VIP Kid compliments, and that was really lovely. And you know, if people were not maybe going to do it before, then that fact alone made people want to attend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just that was a really cool, rewarding experience too.
Yes, very good.
It was really something to see how things run behind the scenes when they're like, Susan, go to the green room. You're like, what? There's a virtual green room? Wait, what? But it really was something to see. I highly recommend it. So if you are in the fellowship next year, sign up for Journey. Hopefully it won't be virtual, but if it is.
Well, an in-person journey is very cool too. But I did enjoy that, and that's what's, you know, that's your silver linings through times like these. You get to have these new experiences that, and I can't say it till I'm, you know, blue in the face. Like, you realize what you can do,
Oh,
the
yes.
power that you have from under your steps in your basement next to mouse traps. Like, at least that's where I am. Looks great on screen. You know, so it's very cool.
And it's
Really,
a
really cool
rewarding
thing.
experience. I think
Mhm.
it's just like, you know, professionally and personally, it's been rewarding for me, at least, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
so don't think too much, you know, go read on the website and then figure it out and make a timeline on, you know, once application comes out, go apply.
Yeah.
And feel
So
free.
it's like, just do it and then
Just
get
do it.
thinking about your why.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, well, you know, now is the time of the year that you should be thinking about whys anyhow, you know, because like January
Yeah.
is coming up soon. So like start thinking what your one word focus is going to be for next year. I don't do New Year resolutions. I just do like one word kind of thing, and that's going to guide me the whole entire year.
Like an
So,
intention.
actually, my one
Yeah.
word for this year was intentional, or is intentional. So everything that guided me was from the word intentional. My next year's word is going to be focus. So
Ooh, that's a good
well,
one.
actually, focus or vision. Maybe I'll go
Oh.
with vision. One of those. Yeah,
They're both great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are both good.
Yeah. So anyhow, we've come to the hour already. That was
I
quick.
know, that flew by.
Yeah.
So feel free to reach out to us via this video, or I mean, you'll see us like on. I mean, all of us are on
We're all on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
we're all on
not sure if
Facebook.
we're all on Instagram. I'm on all the
Instagram.
things.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah.
All the things.
I mean, if you want to reach out to any one of our attendees today for the interview, and you can't get a hold of it, just reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with them. You know, and so thank you so much for attending
you.
the session. Let me don't
Thank
go
you,
yet. Okay, don't
Loretta.
go yet. Don't
Okay.
go yet. Let me end the stream first.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
live audience.
Loretta, thank you so much.
Let me turn that off.
I hope nobody had any questions, because we didn't
Um,
even get time for them.
We were just talking at each other the whole time.
All right, I just ended the stream.
Okay.